everyone, it's Janice from Le Rue de Fleur. Welcome back into the studio today. I wanted to do a really quick Q1 wrap up and sort of check in on where I'm at with my WIP list progress, as well as where I am at with my analog bag project for the year. So trying to stay more off of my phone and back into some of my personal hobbies and interests, as well as staying motivated here in my room. So I made myself a little list of what I've been up to. So first of all, WIP check-in. I have been selling more quilts down in my booth at Primitive Pastimes in Newport, Pennsylvania. So that's like linked below and around on my website and stuff. So I have a space there. I've moved down to the lower floor right inside the door, so I have a better location now. I did that in March, and since March, this is the end of March, but all of March I've been having a lot more traffic, and I've sold several quilts, which is really awesome. So I can make more things, and I'm focusing on getting some stuff done now. One of the projects is this bear paw bunny quilt that I'm almost ready to get quilted this morning. So I've made a fun backing for it from some stash items. And yeah, this one's been in there for maybe like 2 years, so I'm really happy. I have the binding ready to go over here. I'm gonna get this quilted up this morning and get that down there before Easter. It's kind of cutting it close, but you know, better late than never. I have also done a couple of patchwork minkies and a lace baby quilt, which I'm not sure if I showed it. It might be on Instagram. But that was one where I had just like a bunch of old trims and laces on a flannel, like a cream flannel. And it was really, really pretty, kind of like shabby chic thing. So I finished that up, and that's already down at the booth. So sorry I can't show and share that. But I did make a blue and gray colorway PMB top. So this just needs backing, and I have it over there. So I'm going to knock that out soon. And then as part of 4 Patch February, I made another PMB using sort of like 4 patches, and I show and share my technique for laying that out in that video, which I can link below. That's a really fun variation of making a PMB. Instead of doing it like in strips, I made blocks and then pieced the blocks together. And the effect is a little bit different because of the way that the fabrics move through the quilt, but otherwise the same size and measurements and very similar technique. Okay, so that's all of my WIPs. What's next? I don't know. I still have plenty of stuff in my drawer down here. I would like to do something springish, so I will look through and see what I can complete there. But I'm really happy so far. I've gotten several things created and moved, and it's making me really happy. I would like to look in my drawer and see what I can come up with for finishing up and releasing some patterns for you here in the spring, and some of the backlog of quilt patterns that I have. But we'll see. I also have a lot of work scheduled for the rest of the school year, so I don't know if I'll get to some of that. Okay, topic 2, the analog bag check-in. I have finished 2 books. Like I said, it's already March, the end of March, so I have finished 2 books in my book card bingo. The Desert Solitaire book that I started with, I checked as about nature conservation. That one took a little while for me to read. It was a little bit slower because it was like a personal narrative, somebody's sort of like autobiography of their experiences. I just read a little bit slower, honestly, and it was like a longer book, but I enjoyed it. It was really interesting, particularly since we had traveled to the desert last year on our vacation, and so I remembered some of the places, so that was kind of cool to have that connection. And then the second book that I read, I checked off as like a horror genre, even though it wasn't like super horror, but it's the most horror that I'm likely to read. Is kind of like a psychological thriller, was Leave the World Behind by Rumen Alam, and I read that really quickly in March. It really only took me like a week and a half, which is pretty fast for me. I don't have a ton of time to sit down and read. I'm mostly doing it while I'm waiting to pick my daughter up at different of her after school activities, or in the evening. Instead of sitting down and scrolling through my phone while I'm hanging out with my dog, I've been grabbing my book, and that works really great. So I need to choose another one to keep the momentum up. I have been collecting little TBR list from people that have recommended things and friends and stuff, so I'm just sticking them in there so I don't run out of ideas. Or again, I'm trying to go back to that, just filling in this, keeping it fun, keeping it light, filling in the bingo card, but then also just kind of being really random and not thinking too hard about what I'm reading, because that way it's just keeping it light, it's keeping it fun, and I'm sort of exposing myself to things that I might not otherwise choose, right? Okay, so that's going really well. I'm happy with that. The scrap paper challenge, no, I didn't use a ton of my little scraps. I didn't take that stuff upstairs and work on it at all. I just didn't find that I was having time to sit down in the evening and doing that. I was doing more reading when I was in that situation, but it did remind me to get back into working on my scrapbooks. So I have gotten a ton of stuff done, again, with our desert travel book from last summer. So I'm really happy with that. I worked through a lot of this. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm currently have a couple of different years going, which is not great. But I got a lot done in this. My only concern right now is you can see how fat this book is, and I still have several days of this trip to go. We took a ton of pictures, so don't really want to, but I'm probably going to have to go into the second volume for that, which will make that 25 like a 4-volume year, which is just kind of makes me sad because I'm going to run out of room on my shelf space for keeping these books. But whatever, I really have fun with it. I enjoy it. I know it's not a thing, like my kids do enjoy looking through them. My family does enjoy looking through them. I don't expect that it's a thing they're actually going to keep for the rest of their lives. They'll probably trim it down. But for me, it's really fun. It's relaxing. I love using little paper scraps. And I find that it gives me inspiration and it connects back to all of the quilting. So it kind of is doing two things, is like allowing me to experiment with colors and pattern play and ideas in a very small way. And then I kind of apply some of that to getting ideas for my larger scale projects, which is the quilting, which I feel like is a very similar sort of pattern play, layering, coming up with shapes and all of that, sort of a 2D, 3D situation. Anyway, so I have applied at least that sort of idea, but I have to come down here. So I wouldn't say it's like in the analog bag thing. It's more just like reminded me that I wanted to get back into playing with paper and stickers and all that. I did buy a bunch of stuff too, so I spent a bunch of money at the Echo Park discount sale that they had earlier in the year. And I'm not sad about it. I've been using my supplies, so I deserve to get more supplies, but I wouldn't say I'm adhering to the like scrap challenge there. Planner decor. Yeah, all right, so that's this guy. I've been trying to adjust to the layout in this. I don't know if I love it, but I do stick stickers in during the week while I'm working on stuff. It has been fun. There's some really blank spots sometimes too. A lot of it's just lists and it's not super pretty, but I'm finding it's fun with a little bit of hybrid of both. I don't know if I love this layout and if I'll be sticking with this next year, but it's been really interesting to sort of spend a little extra time in here playing and stickering. Again, it's something that's really relaxing and it keeps me connected to my schedule, which can be really crazy and bounce around a lot. I go a lot of different places. I don't work at any one place at one time. So it keeps me grounded in looking at my schedule and making it fun. So I do enjoy stickering in here and all of that. So I do spend time on that. The slow stitching, not really. I didn't really do a lot with that. I did do another wedge in my embroidery garden journal. I would have liked to try to fill in the last 4. So this is still an ongoing goal. I'm going to keep it on my list. I do have the video for the December wedge, and I need to go in and fill in some of the dividers for the rest of the units. But I did complete 1. So am I super happy with my progress on that? No, I'm not. But like I said, I've been choosing to read a lot more, and so I am proud of that. Like I realize that not everything is going to be level interest. It's just giving myself options so that I stick with staying in my creative practices and off of like doom scrolling. Another thing that I did, but I didn't add in, but I should have, because it's always part of my quarter one, is garden planning. So, you know, I just keep I keep my lists in just a manila folder, and I love to sketch out plans for my garden every year. They're messy, they're not great. It just gives me a rough measurement of what I have, the space that I have to work with, and the holes that I see from year to year. And then I just can fill in and plan, so you can see last year versus this year. And then let's see what I have, 2024. And then it's kind of cool to look back. I have several years of these. Sometimes if I buy stuff, I keep the record of what I bought. I sort of write in, you know, like what's the inspiration, what's the colors. Right now I'm really happy with how my long border is turning out. And so now I don't have much room in there. I just have a few spots for annuals. And so that's just sort of what I think about. And then each year I try to change it a little bit while leaving a lot of the foundation in place. And that's really fun. Same with my garden plans for my vegetable patch. So I have a pretty good structure going now ever since 2024. I have 7 different raised beds down there. We just put in a little herb planter area, so that's kind of new, and I don't really have that sketched out, but it's over here, a little like tea medicinal herb area that I'm gonna have that's down here on the outside of my vegetable patch. And so I just sort of lay out ideas of what I want to get and about how many I think I can fit in there, so that when I get ready to go to the garden center, or if I'm starting seeds, I know about what I want to do, and I keep a list of things that I've used and how they've done. But again, it's not like overly organized, it's more sketchy, and that works for me. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. It's just a side project. I like being in my garden. I don't necessarily need to have like super detailed documentation. I'm not really doing it for mega production to feed my family. I like having fresh things that I've grown, but we also participate in a farm share, so I don't have to like completely like try to give all the sustenance from my one space. You know, it's more like things that we eat a lot of, or I like to have that I can walk down and grab. And so I do focus a lot on like herbs, and some of the vegetables that I use really frequently, like tomatoes and lettuce and onions and stuff that I use a lot of, and I like being able to go down and pull it out. So that's that. And then my daughter had to do a vision board for one of her little art sketchbooks at school, so we sat down together and I did a little vision board for my garden this year and my patio area, and I don't really love the way that it turned out, but it was fun. It was a fun afternoon. And again, another little like creative analog thing that we did together, just cutting up some magazines, using some watercolors, and I had a couple of like little wildflower stamps and things. And then I chose to focus a lot on words, and she had to draw more for hers because it was for art class. But that was really fun. And again, just finding like another little excuse to spend time off the phone doing something creative. So that's it. That's my check-in. I think moving forward for Q2, we'll be heading into the end of the school year, which is kind of busy, and June, which we will be doing some vacations and traveling and things like that. So I won't necessarily have as much time for big projects. So that's why I said I would love to get out some patterns, but realistically, I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I will continue focusing on trying to make things for my booth, because that's doing really well. Obviously, that's a good income stream for me. And finishing up the school year is a lot of attention. And then during the summer, I'm going to hopefully have a bunch of sewing summer camps coming up. So that'll take a lot of my attention. And then I just like to be outside and I like to relax, and I like to spend time with my family. So I don't know how intense I'm going to try to be. I can keep up with the reading. That's been working really good for me. I can see myself taking that out on the patio and enjoying being outside and sitting in all of my beautiful flowers and stuff, and reading more. I'm super happy with how that's going. Scrapbooking, I don't know. We'll see. I sometimes get a lot done during the summer just because I'm not so focused on other things. And I have a lot more days off. I'm not obviously going to school, but with the summer camps, I don't know. And the slow stitching, I would love to say that I'm going to do more of that. I just haven't been drawn to the project. I just really fell off. It's been really hard for me to pick it back up. So I hope that I will do more with it. I might take it traveling with us, but honestly, when I'm traveling, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit and like enjoy whatever we are doing together as a family. I don't want to sit off by myself and work on a project. And again, I might lean more into the reading, and that's fine too. So I think just being mindful of where I'm at right now and what's calling to me, so that I stick with whatever it is that's calling to me, to stay off my phone, and it doesn't really matter what that is. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little check-in. I hope that it has helped you think about where you're at with your goals and maybe what you want to do here moving forward into Q2. So April, May, June. And yeah, so I plan to try to do a little quarterly check-in each month this year. I used to do them and it was really great. I'll link that below. I'll put this in that playlist as well if you're interested in some of those. They were kind of sporadic, but I do think it's good. It helps keep you motivated. It's going to help keep me motivated, I think, if I have to get on here and like confess what I have or haven't done, even just to myself. So anyway, I hope you feel inspired today to get creative, and thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe if you're interested in more sewing, quilting, and creativity content. Thank you.